Last week's election destroyed more than the Democratic majority in the Senate. It also shattered a number of myths that have enabled Democratic elite complacency. The first myth was that we could count on Republicans to continue to consult Todd Akin on their messaging to women. The second was that if we pretended that we couldn't remember who the president was or whether or not we voted for him, the electorate would also forget. Another myth was this idea that the demographic tsunami and unstoppable Obama turnout machine meant we could buck history in a sour national sentiment. But the last myth, and the one that will doom Democrats in 2016, needs to be busted right here. That myth has to do with the inevitability and electability of a Hillary Clinton presidency. We had a number of proxies for the Hillary Clinton election. Their names were Allison Lundergan Grimes, Mark Pryor, Michelle Nunn, among others. They were what Senator Mark Warner would call radical centrists. You might also call them Clinton Democrats, and I don't think I have to remind you how they all fared. None of these Clinton Dems ran significantly better than the dreaded Obama in their states, despite their rants against the EPA, standing shoulder to shoulder with the NRA, and conveniently forgetting who they voted for in the last election. Just consider Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, whose near miss may have been the shock of the night. The Washington Post examined his campaign and found that he had failed to adjust to new partisan realities. He'd focused on winning over unwinnable moderate Republicans in red areas of the state, rather than trying to excite the base and drive up a big margin in the D.C. suburbs. In his first election to the Senate, Warner won all but 6 of the 133 counties in the state. This time, his radical centrism made the race so close that his opponent didn't concede until Friday. Maybe centrism means losing. Voters sent a clear and unmistakable message this election, and it was not that they are in love with the Republicans or with their positions. The message was that they are sick and tired of the way that things have been going, and they want something different, period, full stop. So voters are screaming change from politics as usual, and we in the media are talking about a Jeb Bush-Hillary Clinton election. You could not possibly get a less inspired or more status quo choice. We've had wave after wave election, 2006, 2008, 2010, 2014. Voters desperately want something different. Republicans fail, Democrats win. Democrats fail, Republicans win. It's the every other election that is spelling gridlock. They're not looking for carefully calibrated, focus-tested messages. And if that's what they get, as they did this year, they may just stay home. Only 36.4% of eligible voters even bothered to show up this election. That's the lowest level in 72 years. Voters don't show up just because there's a Democrat on the ballot. You have to actually give them something to vote for. Hillary Clinton is meeting right now with David Plouffe, trying to, quote, define a rationale for her candidacy. After decades in public life, she apparently still needs a strategist to tell her what she's all about. Hillary Clinton may be the Democratic nominee. She may be the next president. But we would be wise not to comfort ourselves with the lazy idea that she is inevitable. Because if we hand over all the levers of power to Republicans, well, the last 2 years will be the good old days. Okay, that does